Hi, readers. Welcome to the very first episode of Echoes of Genius podcast. I'm Lee D. Blumenthal, the author behind this new Technothriller series. I have often thought about this question. If our world had an extinction level event tomorrow, and our best modern scientists were stumped, who would we call? You and I live in an age of incredible science and technology. But sometimes I think we've lost the raw, intuitive brilliance that defined the pioneers of the past. That question is what inspired the Echoes of Genius series. And it's why, when you pick up the first book, The Deep Surge, you'll notice that I take a bit of a different approach to how I start the story. I just don't jump into the action. I build a foundation using three specific lenses. My books always start with Chapter 1, The Historical Spark. Before I throw you into a modern crisis and a faster-paced thriller-like prose, I want to take you back to the source. In The Deep Surge, for example, I start in the mid-1700s with our founding father, Benjamin Franklin. You won't see him as a face on a $100 bill. You see him as a man with a relentless, driving scientific curiosity and wit. I want you to see him at his peak, doing what he does best and interacting with the world in a way only he could. Why? Because to understand why he's needed in our time, you have to understand a little bit about the specific spark he discovered in his own time. The snippets you learn about Ben in Chapter 1 create the foundation of what you will experience in the main plot. These vignettes aren't just random short stories. They are the clues that will define how he eventually navigates the modern world. Then, in Chapter 2, we pivot. We move into the modern crisis. This is where the exciting techno-thriller part of the book comes to life. I aim to craft a modern world that feels both thrilling and convincingly real. In The Deep Surge, we explore a global power grid dominated by big, controlling monopolies. Then, when a groundbreaking discovery in the Earth's crust promises free energy to everyone, we get to see what those in power are truly made of. I use this chapter to show you that our world is in a fever. We have the computers, we have the satellites, we have the weapons. We are facing a problem that maybe our modern logic can't fully solve. So that leads us to the mystery of Chapter 3, the Temporal Bridge. This is the question every reader asks. How? How, in The Deep Surge, for example, do we get a man from the 18th century into a modern-day laboratory? This is where I introduce the anchors, mysterious individuals who possess a rare gifted ability to reach across time. In this chapter, I explore the logic of the resurrection. It's not an accident. It's not a science experiment gone wrong. It's a choice. These gifted few realize that the only way to save the future is to awaken a mind from the past. In this chapter, I explain the burden of that power and why this specific genius is the only one who can navigate the crisis. I designed the three-chapter foundation to make you feel the weight of history colliding with the future. When the story finally converges, you don't just see a fish out of water story. You see a master at work, using ancient brilliance to fix a modern world they never could have imagined. And you see how the geniuses bring their personalities, learning, and wisdom from their respective time periods to the technical teams and to the world. If you love history, science, and the kind of suspense that keeps you up to 2 o'clock in the morning, I invite you to see this structure in action. You can read a part of the first chapter right now on my website at spellabcd.com/books. That's spellabcd.com/books. I'm Lee D. Blumenthal. Thanks for joining me on this first look at the making of Echoes of Genius. As George Costanza once said,
"Worlds are colliding!"
I see you at the next collision of time.